Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here, and today we're going to talk about a fundamental difference in the way you provide solutions when you're at work. So the question really is, are you a fixer or are you a problem solver? And here's how this came about. I have been working with someone for it's just going to be a year now, and he's starting to roll off of the coaching work. And one of his biggest observations was, you helped me redefine what it meant to show up for work. And I remembered we had a very clear conversation about how he perceived the way he provided value to the company. And we worked on him understanding the difference between what he thought he was contributing and what could have been holding him back. So we had a really deep conversation around this particular concept, which was, I think that they consider me a fixer, somebody who's going to come in and fix really bad problems. They'll just send me in and I'll fix them. And he said to me, I think that I'm like Michael Clayton. And if you don't know the movie, I will provide, I think, a link or something about the film. But George Clooney was in this movie, and he very much was a fixer. Now, I haven't seen the movie in a few years, so I'm going to go by my memory here. But I explained to him, I said, you don't really want to position yourself at a company and expect to get moved up the chain of command or get promoted or anything if you think your job is similar to the character in this film, Michael Clayton. I said, because he very clearly articulated in the film, you don't hire me unless you have a very big, ugly problem that needs to go away, and you want someone to do it quietly behind the scenes. And what does this mean? He's not a visible person who creates solutions to common problems. He is someone who comes in and cleans up a mess either during or after the fact. So he actually, my client, needed to take a step back because he said, I didn't think of it that way. And I said, yeah, he even articulates it in the film that he's not somebody that's visible and is ever going to be more than what he is in his role at that company. Now, we want to understand the difference between what it means to be a fixer like Michael Clayton and actually be a problem solver, someone who actually creates value at a company. So let's get started. Okay, so my client is actually in line for a promotion, and here's where he got confused. He's in line for a really big promotion. They asked him to get on this project that was quite big and quite risky. And his point of view was, this is not a good project. It is not going to go well. It's not going to be easy. And I don't understand why they brought me on board. Obviously, they think that I can fix this. And it took us a while to understand how they actually perceive the contributions that he's made at the company to this point. So a little bit of unpacking required us to look at why they've talked to him and why they brought him on board. And that's where he said, I just believe they think I'm a fixer. I'm somebody who can just fix a big ornery problem like this. And I told him in this past meetings this week, I said, look, you know, it is a major project at a large company. And I said, you and I both know you're very accomplished, smart people at the top of the company in a leadership space. And if you took on a huge project like this, it's unlikely that it's going to be a catastrophic failure. It's just mostly going to have challenges, and there's going to be some pivots before it becomes, successful. And he said, okay, yeah, I do know that. I do know. I know we're all competent and it's going to be okay. He said, but I see in the headwinds, we're going to have problems. And so I said, if we position you as a problem solver, it means you're actually contributing publicly, that your contributions are seen by others and that they add value to the company, and that they can come forward and say, hey, you know what? We were having problems, but Bob over there really took care of a lot of stuff. He actually headed up this solution, right? As opposed to saying to him on the side, look, we're having real problems in this department. Maybe you can go over there and shake things up and then come back to us on the side and let us know how things are going. That is a fixer. So now you want to ask yourself, am I being positioned as a fixer or am I being positioned as a problem solver? And if you really believe that all you're doing is fixing problems that show up, that other people kind of create, And then they say, oh, all these people are creating these problems. Just go in there and fix it and then go back and, tell us how it went. Here's how you can get out of that feedback loop, because we want you out of the fixer role, the behind the scenes person who just fixes mistakes that others make, and put you back into a problem solving mode, which is I'm contributing something of value and they can use it in the company going forward. A problem solver is someone who comes in and says, I see that this broke repeatedly. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Therefore, when you all learn how to fix it, you can start doing this and the problem corrects itself, which means I don't need a fixer to constantly come in and clean up afterward. We've now eliminated the problem or corrected the problem. Okay, so let's talk about 3 questions that you can ask yourself in order to start positioning you as a problem solver as you continue on your career trajectory. Okay, so question number 1, why do people come to you? Ask yourself, what do they want from me? So if you have a boss or a supervisor or even a stakeholder who tells you, we brought you on this project to just clean up some of the problems that could arise, you're going to get a better understanding of the type of work that you do. Also, when you get brought onto a project, ask yourself, what role am I filling? If it's easier for you to start walking in and fixing other people's mistakes, take a step back and ask yourself, why are you doing that easy work? Your job is not to do housekeeping. It isn't to just keep cleaning up when other people have a misstep. Your job is to contribute. So why are they asking you to come aboard for this project, and what do they expect you to do? If you're getting any shades of, be the Michael Clayton who cleans everything up for us, take a step back and ask yourself, how can I start creating solutions so they see me as adding value in a different space? And that leads me to number 2. What solutions do you provide? You could be contributing something of value and you may have kept it to yourself, meaning that the only way they can find a solution is if they constantly ask you to do the same thing over and over again. This becomes problematic because you'll get stuck in that role. Just like this Michael Clayton character was in that role and he knew he had no other options. There was no place else for him to go. He was always going to do that role. We don't want you to set yourself up for that. When you become irreplaceable, there's nowhere else for you to go. People will tell you, well, we'd love to promote you, or we'd love to transfer you, or we'd love to give you that other job. But you know what? No one else can do it the way you do. And you do not want to be on the receiving end of a conversation like that, especially if you have ambitions for your career. So what solution do you provide? If you are constantly being asked to provide the same answers over and over and over again, ask yourself what that formula looks like. Write it down, document it, and start stepping back and saying, where can I create a solution so that I can start sharing it over and over again, and that others can just come to me if they have one-off problems. Oh, you know what? I was following your procedure and I happen to have a question because this one element didn't seem to work well. Can you just come in and give us a little bit of direction? That's the way that you want people to start coming to you. A couple of tweaks in the process to make sure they understand, and they're asking you for guidance. They're not asking you to come in and do it for them. And number 3, ask yourself, what's in it for me? Now, the reason we're asking you this is because, like I said, if you have ambitions for your job, if you have a career trajectory that you're trying to achieve, you're not doing things out of the kindness of your heart. What you do want to understand is if they give you assignments and if they're telling you this is what we need from you, you're asking yourself, how are the solutions that I'm providing and creating contributing to my a collection of wins or my accomplishments so that they can all add up to me being considered the next viable candidate for the next position when it comes available. It's okay if sometimes they ask you to do some housekeeping tasks because everybody has to contribute in some way. And a lot of times we do have to do work that seems redundant or too simplistic. But if that's part of your job, okay. However, if they add you to a project and they tell you just do some of the basic stuff, you kind of want to ask, where do I get to show up a little bigger? Where do I get to show up and contribute on a bigger scale? And how is that going to contribute to my portfolio of accomplishments? Because I still have this goal. I still have this in my sights, is by the end of the year, this is where I want to be, a real strong contender for the next level. And if this job that you're giving me is maybe the same old thing over and over again, I have to ask, where can I break that loop so that I can now start contributing in a meaningful way and start giving solutions that you actually find valuable instead of solutions that only I can do, right? Okay, and so collectively, those three questions are just going to get you out of the savior mode. If I have to come in and save the day all the time, then I'm going to get stuck in this definition of who I am and how I contribute, which is to just be a Michael Clayton, a fixer. And in order to get out of that feedback loop, we want to start contributing in a different way. Take the same solutions that you're using if you're stuck in a fixer role and start creating them as solutions to problems and present them as, I've developed this framework. I think it'll be helpful for us to get out of this situation where you constantly need somebody to fix this problem. All right, so that's it for this video on asking yourself, are you a fixer or are you a problem solver? I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like my content and material, please click the like button. Please click the follow button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.